Hi here, Finn's here. I'm back for another video and I've just watched I'm a Celeb Get Me Out of Here 2020. So let's do a quick review on it the last few days. And if you haven't checked out all my reviews on I'm a Celebrity and you want to, then you can go check it out. They're all available on my channel. Ting! No. So yes. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought now. I don't know what I'm going on about. Anyway, so yeah, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here is on tonight. Yeah, it was a good episode. It was, yeah, it was good. It was another good episode, I guess. Not a huge amount happened in it, compared to other shows, but you know, it was a good show. We had a trial. Shane did it along with Holly this time. I'm not surprised Shane did it again. For how many times? I was surprised Holly was picked to do it. I was surprised people at home actually voted for her. I wasn't expecting that. I was quite surprised when she was announced to do it last night tonight. I thought she wouldn't be that memorable for people to vote for her, but she did. So it was a nice change of character in the trial. And yes, they didn't do so well, only picking up 4 stars out of out of 12. Yeah, they had to go through these tunnels and they were chained up and they had to bring down buckets of water and collect stars, and they only managed to get 4 out of 12. I guess it wasn't the most scary or the most disgusting trial of them all, but I think it was definitely the most physically demanding, and I think they kept on spilling water in their buckets, and yeah, it took a very long time, and the chains were always tangled. It was a tricky trial actually. It's trickier than it looks actually. There wasn't that many critters I felt in the trial, but it was still quite physically demanding. I think, yeah, even a Paralympian couldn't really do it that well. So, they struggled on that. So yeah, they only got 4 stars. Their weakest performance so far in the trial. You know, it's not like last year where they always do well in trials, or in 2016 when they always do well in trials. It does get a little bit boring after a while. So at least that's kind of nice to see for the viewer. Not nice for them, but nice for us, because you know that they're going through a new stage of hunger now, which is it's good for us to see, not good for them. Yes, and the night before the trial, the drinking trial, I actually I prefer the drinking trials to the eating trials, because, you know, you always get that, I know you have that in an eating trial, but you know that feeling, you know. I think they're just more funnier to watch, really, than when you eat stuff. I think drinking stuff is better. But no, it was really funny. It was the 2 EastEnders, very interesting. Shane and Jessica did it, and which always quite suited them because it was kind of a market themed, you know, a bit like Albert Square, you know, kind of going back to the market. So it kind of worked for them in a way. They had to drink it. It was really funny. It was Shane had to drink pig's vagina. Something's funny with the word vagina. I just love the word vagina. I don't know why. It just always makes me laugh. Yeah. I don't know why. It always makes me giggle. But yeah, it was a disgusting trial, really. It was really fun. They got 12 out of 12, which, you know, I think they got for it. They didn't pass on any. Remember the days when some of the celebrities usually passed on eating or drinking trials, you know, they wouldn't have that, they wouldn't have that. Nowadays they just go for it, which is good to see, you know, so they try everything. It's not like Jen and McKeith where just pass on everything. Remember that trial? So yes, that was funny last night. Yeah, those were 2 good trials. Oh, I want to talk about the tension in the camp. There's not been any big arguments at all this series. But what I'm getting to know is there is, you know, is it me or it's AJ doesn't really like Shane. Because basically they got completely different roles. Because Giovanni was new, it was the new lead of the camp, so they all got new jobs, and you know, so they all talked about like their new roles in camp, and you know, Shane just right finished his tray. Right, I'm not washing that up. Who's doing that job? Which ended up being AJ's job, and he was like, AJ was like, yeah, you can just put it there, and then there's this awkward silence, and just Shane just walked back there, and AJ was like, you know, I yeah, I don't know, but there was an awkwardness atmosphere, like it was just like, it's just, you know, it's not like, you know, that kind of. It was more like, is there something? I just don't know. I just don't think AJ really likes Shane for some reason. I think they're just both different personalities. I guess AJ can be a bit, always OCD sometimes, and a bit more, like be organised, because sometimes because he's that maybe the professional dancer in him as the teacher. Or Shane is more, things happen as they are. What happens happens. Yeah, more jokey, more, Jack the Lad kind of East End guy, or yeah, whatever yeah means. Or AJ's not, so I guess the two personalities don't always connect, right? So the dots don't always line when they're doing stuff. But yeah, there is that maybe awkward tension, not like argument, but there's just something. I just felt there's just something, those two, they just don't have, I mean, they don't each hate each other, but they just don't seem to connect to one another or click. But what's very interesting, tomorrow's trial will have Shane and AJ in it, which I am looking forward to. Because I was wondering who was going to do it. I knew Shane was going to do it. Maybe Bev might have done it, but instead it was AJ, which was a good choice. There seems to be a lot of trials where there's always two people. Why are they? I don't know why they're doing. I think they should do more. Although having two people at trials, I guess why, because they just want to have more people doing trials. But I do think they should do more trials on their own, more solo trials. For me, say I think there have been too many trials now where there's been always two people down there. I think it would be better to have some more trials on their own now, because it's been like what 3 in a row where we've always had two trials in a pair. So, but it will be interesting to see Shane and AJ together. That is what I will say. Because, yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll get along. I think they will. They'll be professional about it. But when they're in camp, tomorrow night will be the first vote off for the first elimination of the series. Somebody has to go out first, so who will it be? Very interesting this year. I don't think there's any like elimination trials where they try to immunity challenges this year, which is very interesting. They haven't done it because usually there's always like some immunity challenge just for the first vote off. So they haven't done it that year. This year, which is very interesting. But in any case, somebody has to go first. They're all up for the public vote. There's no immunity whatsoever for the first vote of this series at all. So who will be out first? For me, if I have to predict someone, it's probably between Rufy and Russell, really, the two Leo rivals, really, because I just don't think they contribute enough to the camp. But the bookies have actually put Holly as the favourite to be out first, closely followed by Rufy, and then Jessica as well is quite high up as well to be favourite to be out first. I'm not surprised Holly is up there, although she has done a trial tonight, so maybe that might affect her. Maybe people will remember a bit more now. Jessica, I think Jessica's safe. I think she's done quite a few trials. People know her, and I think maybe the EastEnders block vote will go to her. Maybe they might go to Shane more, but I think she's done enough. I don't think she'll be right to be out first. I'm surprised Russell is not higher up in the bookies to be out first, because I kind of forget he's in the camp. You know, it's not like Big Brother where, you know, if you don't like the person you can vote for them. It's just whoever gets evicted is really the person who's, you know, you forget the most, really, who gets the least amount of votes, really. I think it's really crucial. Whoever gets the most, ever gets the least airtime might be out first. Whoever gets the least amount of airtime tomorrow night might be out first. That really depends on the votes, really. Like, who contributes the most in camp, you know, like what stories they tell in camp, what trials, even to the Castle Coin Challenge, who gets to do that, really depends, you know. I still think it's between Rufy and Russell. I really do. If I just have to go with my gut, I have to say I think the first person to be voted off, without looking at the bookies, you know, I would have to say Russell. I just think he doesn't. I just think, you know, yeah, we've had that, you know, that story about his tumour, which was, you know, quite a sad story, and it's nice to hear. I know it was his birthday, but the other day, but really we haven't really seen much of him in camp. He's quite forgettable, and if you're forgettable, you're probably gonna go out quite early. And for me, I just don't think there'll be enough people to save him. Yeah. It might be Rufy. I think Rufy might be a close second for me. I think she could be out quite early, because I don't think she's contribute enough to the camp either. So, but I'll put my money on Russell, and maybe Rufy will be out next after that. And maybe Holly will be out then after that. But yeah. Yeah. I think the ones that are going to be safe, I think Shane, Beverly, Jordan, Vernon. I think those four, I think we could put Mo in there as well. Those five, I think, are saved. I can't see any of those going. I think Jessica will have enough support behind her as well. I think AJ, it's nice to see AJ come out of his shell. I think he'll do enough as well. Who else? I think Giovanni might not be the most, you know, talked about campmate of this series, but she might have a big enough fan base to save her. Yeah, I think a lot of mums and Fly fans and people who listen to her podcast will save her tomorrow night. I think those ones. I think the others are vulnerable. The Russell, Rufy, Holly, and Victoria. I don't want Victoria to go. I'm growing to like Victoria more than I did when I first heard that she was going to do the show. You know, she at least has some interesting stories. You know, that Jeremy Hunt story was very interesting tonight. And I want to see more, and I want to see her do more of the trials. Because I know there's might be a bit of a competitive side to Victoria, and I really want to see more of that out of her. So it'd be a shame if she goes out first. But will enough people save her, though? Will she be that well liked with the public? Who knows? But it'd be nice. I hope she doesn't go out first. I don't think... Just let's get rid of the people who are so forgettable. Let's get rid of them. But anyway, comment down below who you think will be the first one voted off I'm a Celeb to get me out of here 2020. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I will be back for more content very soon. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, people. Goodbye.